Stephanie Bain, I have a books. I'm a book addict. There's so many books. Hello everyone, Stephanie here. Today's video is going to be a discussion about rereading books. I have reread 2 books this year, but I've reread both of them for 2 different reasons. One of them, which was the first book in the first 3 books, was just because I missed it and I just wanted to get back into it. And I was like, hey, I haven't read you since I was in high school. That was a long time ago. Let me read you. And the second book I reread, which was actually my last reread, was because I read Anti-Darken by Kirsten White, and it like ruined my soul. And I need the second book, but I was like, oh, I don't want to read anything. And I was about to get into that kind of like book slump thing, but I just needed something equally as great to just help move on and like get the thing going. And that is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. So 2 rereads and 2 for completely different reasons. I think there's multiple reasons why people reread. Maybe it's just because you're nostalgic for it and you just want to get back into the world, like what I did with Kissed by an Angel. You're about to be in a book slump, or you are in a book slump, so you pick up a book that you know will give you that urge to keep reading. Twilight, for example, always did that for me. Not so much anymore. I have new books now that I will, or new genres that I go to avoid reading slumps. But there's also just because you forgot what happened in the first book and you're like, oh, I need to remember before I read the second book. So you reread just so everything's in your head again. And I was just curious, what reason do you guys use, or that you've noticed is the thing that's always present when you are rereading? Is it always because you seem to forget what happened in the first few books? Is it because you miss the world, or is it because you're about to be in a slump? Like, when you reread, why do you reread? Also, some people just like to reread because of like holidays. Like, I've noticed, like, not necessarily October, but like November, December, and maybe January, but usually December mainly, people will, for example, always like go to reread like Harry Potter, or it's like just something about the Christmas time makes people want to reread things. I think it's because, you know, like it's Christmas and you're feeling nostalgic, so that actually makes sense. But do you guys reread during Christmas? Like, I'm just curious. I don't remember if it was this past year or the year before, but I reread The Fault in Our Stars during Christmas. Not a smart move, but it was an amazing reread. So like, I'm just curious. And also, if you don't reread books, why don't you? Because I'm not gonna lie, I have a hard time comprehending people who don't like to revisit worlds or books that they've absolutely love. Like, there's some people that I know have never reread a book and they'll never reread a book, and like for me, I do think that's hard to like believe. Not that like it's wrong, it's just like I want to understand like why you don't reread. Is it because you're always looking for a new book and a new world to throw yourself into? Is it because you're afraid that if you reread it, you're not gonna love it as much? Or maybe you have like really good memory and you just don't need to reread it. I don't know, but you like comment down below because I'm really curious. But I am a rereader, I'm a rewatcher, I'm a re-listener. I listen to the same music all the time, Damien Rice, Nirvana, The Boxer Rebellion, because that's what I love, that's my comfort zone. I just listen to it all the time, even the weekends thrown in there. And then there's my movies, like my absolute favorite movies, I will rewatch them over and over and over again, and I'll never get sick of them, like Total Recall and Escape Plan. I love Arnold Schwarzenegger. First off, he's one of my all-time favorite like actors slash action superhero actors, like, you know. Yeah, he's like legit like comfort for me when it comes to like movies, the same way I have like my books, you know, like Red Rising, equivalent movie, Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I rewatched those movies, and I rewatched Freddy Krueger when I was younger. I rewatched freaking The Mummy and The Mummy Returns a million times. Selena, Titanic, like those movies when I was younger. Even now I have movies I rewatch all the time. Like if Outlander's on TV, I'll watch it. If The 100's on TV, I don't care if I've seen it, I'm gonna watch it. Like, I love rewatching, and just like being submerged into things that I love over and over and over again, even if it's the same movie, the same song, the same book. So, you know, like, that's why, like, it is hard for me to understand when people, like, don't reread books. That was a long tidbit for the non-readers, non-rereaders. I'm saying reread a lot. Reread, reread, reread. So I'm just curious, do you like to reread? When do you like to reread? Do you have certain reasons why you reread? If you don't like to reread, why don't you like to reread? What are the reasons that you've noticed yourself being like, no, I don't want to reread because insert blank in the comments down below. So I'm really just curious. I really am. It's just, you know, rereading the Bone season got me thinking about books that slowly but surely I find myself gravitating towards again, wanting to reread again. And, you know, and I can also put that in my head though, because as soon as I was done, this is not the first time though, because that also happened with A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallaro. I read that book and I wanted to reread it as soon as I was done. That happens sometimes when it's just so good that you're like, oh, it's not enough. It's not enough. But comment down below what you guys think. I hope you guys enjoyed this discussion. I was just really curious to see what you guys thought, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.